Right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, before we begin, I like to give all praise to Salakia. We like to give all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great Millstone. As always, we say Shalom unto the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
There's a couple of brothers here,
Baya Sha'ala.
and Isaiah. We wanted to get into today, word of the day, January 19th, 2026.
So today's date.
Yeah, today's date, right? It's ephemeral. You know, they go pronounce it here.
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral.
Right, ephemeral. Right. It says something described as ephemeral. Ephemeral lasts only for a short time. It says the performance was not recorded. The fact that made it ephemeral, nature all the more poignant.
Right.
We go down to the did you know. In its aquatic, immature stages, the mayfly order ephemera. Wow, we click that word and hit it. Right. It says ephemeral terror as all the time in the world, or not quite. Among the approximately 25,000 species of mayflies, some have as much as 2 years, but a year is more common. But in its adult phase, a typical mayfly hatches, takes wings for the first time, mates, and dies within the span of a few short hours. This briefness of heydays makes the insect a potent symbol of life's ephemeral nature. When ephemeral, from the Greek word ephemeros, meaning lasting a day, first appeared in print in English in the late 16th century, it was a scientific term applied to short-term fevers and later to organisms such as insects and flowers with very short lifespans. Soon after that, it acquired an extended sense describing anything fleeting and short-lived, as in ephemeral pleasures. Right? So we wanted to apply that word to according to the scriptures. It's Esau, Edom's reign within the earth. Right? Starting here at Job 20. Job 20, reading at verse 1. Then answered Zophar the Naamathite to Ara, and said, Therefore do my thoughts cause me to answer, and for this I make haste. I have heard the check of my reproach, and the spirit of my understanding causeth me to answer. Verse 4, knowest thou not this of old, right? So these are old saying something, right? That's been taking place since the beginning of time, right? No, it's not this of old, which I'm going to that word old. It says perpetuity, forever, continuing, future.
Ancient of past times.
Right,
So
ancient of past
times.
And let me see how it reads in another translation. So like, Job 20 from 1. Verse 4, it says, surely you know that from ancient times, right? So this reference is since the past, right?
The ancient before time. Right?
Since man was placed upon the earth,
Right.
that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Right? And read that in GNT, it says, surely you know that from ancient times when humans were first placed on earth, no wicked people have been happy for long.
Ooh.
Right? So, to apply this, right, we wanted to say, or bring this from the perspective of Esau Edom's reign. It's not only is it about up, it was never a long reign. And the triumph not going to last forever. Right? Because that's their inward thought. That's what they want to happen. It's Psalms 49, chapter 49, 7. Mm, 49:11. Psalms the 49 chapter, in at verse 11, it says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. The houses meaning what the empire. This where they build, they establish within the earth as Malachi 1 and 4 says, the desolate places in which they build back. It says, shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Right? Just read that in GNT. Psalms 49 and 11 in GNT, it says, their graves are their homes forever. Right, this one. Right, and again, but the houses are referencing the empire which they have established within the earth, the thing that this will continue forever. And they're making plans, right? Revelation 13, 16 to 18. There's the ultimate trump card in which they're making to try and establish the empire forever. Second Thessalonians, the second chapter, is talking about the thing that serves to be gods. They ultimately want to become God within the earth to establish the empire forever, but that is their empire is ephemeral, right? So, I believe I pronounced it wrong. Ephemeral. Right, that's not gonna last forever. That was in the most high intended plan. That one nation the Lord set up to rule forever, and that nation of Israel. Right? We see in the Revelation, the 20th chapter, you were only given authority to rule for a little season. Revelation 20 and verse 3. I read from 4. Selak, I read from 1. Revelation 20 from 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. Right? And he laid hold on the dragon. Right? When you read Revelation 12, it gives you the account of, lets you know what the dragons is referencing, and that references the Roman Empire. Right? Edomite rule empire. That is what gave the Edomites the power seated within the earth. Right? God talks about in Revelation 13.
Not giving his seat and his power and his great authority.
Yeah. Okay, it's a fair.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. So the leopard here referencing the Greeks, which more so as well Alexander, because the leopard having to deal with the swiftness, the speed in which it took Alexander to conquer the whole known world at the time was what, 12 years?
12 years, and that's a short time. Back then, now that short, you can see that short time now, because they're aiming to take control of the entire earth now, and that's more than 12 years they've been trying to do that.
Right.
Right, good.
And his feet was the feet of a bear, so the beginning of the rule, the beast system, the beginning of the power structure was started with the Greeks, and it's going to be ended by the bear, the Russians, the Medes, the Persians, who in the spirit are the Medes and the Persians, it is lead our God unto them, all these things. That second and verse 11, the end of their times might come through them, so Edomite's going to end their own kingdom. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, having to do with the British, right? And the dragon, being the Roman Empire, gave him Esau.
The beast, yeah, because they go into that word beast there. It's a lot. It goes into the third definition, Therion, G2342, metaphorically a brutal, bestial man, savage, ferocious.
And we know Esau is what, the brutal man of the earth. It is shall I get the parable where it is, if you want to enter into a man's house and spoil the goods, you must first bind that strong man. So we know even when they get the description of the I believe it's the Romans in Daniel, when it say having great iron teeth and crush with the feet of it, the residue thereof. So what we know, the brutal man in the earth today is Esau and Edom, right?
And now they reach the height of the brutality, right? Because the sword was the blessing he was given from Isaac, right? That is the instrument he would use to gain control over the earth. And at the point in time, they had to be very ferocious in order to gain control of the earth. But that was achieved through the Romans. That's the height of the military might in that time, and now that the height of the military might in this time. Right? So that you know, right, that dragon, right? That dragon was revived in the earth. Go ahead.
Right? Reading verse, sorry, finishing. Both of the lion and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority.
Right, so great authority, power seat that was given unto him via the dragon. Right, because when you read verse 2, continuing Revelation 2 and 2, that old serpent ties him back to what the divine out in the garden, which caused Eve to go off, which is the devil. Going to that word devil there, it goes into what a deceiver, right? And Satan, and that's what the serpent that do Eve. He deceive Eve unless you shall not surely die the same day which when they eat this forbidden fruit, right? But we know they surely did die. Adam surely did die, because in that very same day, because we know a day with the Lord is 1,000 years.
Right.
So in that very day, right, the 1,000-year day, Adam died. So yeah, he deceived Eve. He lied to Eve. And Satan, we know 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, metaphorically references Esau Edom as being Satan, right? He coming in the stead of Satan.
Who's a man who's coming is after
The working of Satan with all,
deceivableness of unrighteousness.
right?
Right.
And bound him 1,000 years. What is this referencing? This is the
Dark Ages.
the Dark Ages, when the Byzantine Empire ruled Europe. When the blacks, when Jakes ruled the earth, right? After the Roman Empire, after the fall of the mission, right? Pursuant to 2nd and 12th chapter, right? The Jakes came up into power. And from then, Jakes have ruled Europe for, well, not just limited to 1,000 years, right? But it's wrong about 1,000 years. You know, the most high exact with time. But Jake was given the rule over Europe, over the whole world at that time for 1,000 years. And Esau Edom was run into the Caucasus Mountains, right? Verse 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit references Europe, because land masses in the Bible is referenced unto pits. 2 Ezra 5 and 24.
Yeah, that was true.
He was in the one pit, right? And shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. After that, he must be loosed a little season. We're in a little season right now. And it's beautiful to mention, even if you look at his entire reign, you know, because it's beautiful that he went to the Revelation. Come on. The Revelation, the 13th chapter. When you go to Revelation 13th chapter, it documents all the empires, because that beast references the empires in which Esau Edom ruled throughout the earth, right? Like in the rulership of these heathen unto beasts. The scripture talk about in Ecclesiastes 3 and 18, that the nations may know themselves to be but beasts. All the nations, when you read Daniel, the 7th chapter, that was in the nation of Israel, it was like unto what bestial men, because they ruled without the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And Yahweh Shem scripture talk about the making void the law. Psalms 119 and 80.
But Amites as a beast before thee.
No. Well, that, yeah, you could get that one. That is Psalm 73. Foolish was I.
Tonight 73, 14, 22, so
73, 22? Yeah.
Let's see. Psalm 73 and verse 22. So foolish was I, and ignorant I was as a beast before thee.
Right, so to be considered foolish and ignorant, right, which you know the fool, Psalms 14, the fool had said in their heart, there is no God, right? He looked upon the estate of the sons of men and looked to see if any one of them did seek after God. Not one of them did. Right? We know the sons of men reference in all these other heathen nations. Not one of them did look to seek power within the rulership. Not one of them did look. Nebuchadnezzar did that. And then he reduced him down to that bestial state in Daniel, the 4th chapter, to let him know this is by the decree of the watchers, the tent that they live, the holy ones that they live in may know that the Most High ruled in the kingdom of men, and he set it up over it, even the basis of men. So these men, they didn't rule with Yahweh Shem Shah at all within the heart. They didn't rule with Yahweh Shem Shah at all within the mind. Hence the reason they liken unto beasts. Right? So now, when you go to that Revelation 13 and 2, that beast, right, references all the Edomite rule power structures within the earth, because it starts from the leopard. The leopard references the Greek. If it starts from then till the end of the reign, that's really a little season. Then was Apostle would I bring it out. All them nations had the I can't remember how to say it, but it's a period of reign for 250 years. Not one rulership or kingdom within the earth. I think one, I do the research, I see a video on it, I see one that go to 263 years. But there about that 250 year mark, empires haven't ruled within the earth past that 250 year mark. I think only one did, and that was the 263 I see. I think one was 252. And all the others didn't even reach 250, you know.
Right.
So that most nations don't rule past that 250 year mark. And that's very important, because Edom in the 250 year mark for this rulership he had from, because we know the Babylon, mystery Babylon, the Great America, them rule began in 1776. He had 250 years, so that's 1776. We bring us to this year, and they're gonna celebrate that. I think it's on the 4th of July.
4th of July.
The 4th of July, they're going to celebrate the 250 years of being, the great authority within the earth. Right? But if you count all the rulership, the years of the rulership, and even the rulership would even get cut short pursuant to Revelation 20 and 3, 20 and 4, 20 and 3, so like 1,000 years. Right, so the rule of the Roman Empire and the rulership was cut short for 1,000 years, and then they would come back to rule again.
But only for a little.
Only for a little season, and that little season is about up, right? You had something there?
Because what? Esau know he had no more time. You know what? Let's read back the definition of that word. Something described as ephemeral lasts only a very short time. If you could give me Revelation 12 and verse 12.
Revelation 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
If you could read that in a translation, I have it in the NLT. Therefore rejoice. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who live in the heavens, rejoice. But terror will come on the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you in great anger, knowing that he has little time. Esau knows his kingdom is about numbered. If they are more. Daniel 5. Many tekel fasten.
Right,
If you
many.
can all that precept, Salah.
See what it's saying in this translation here.
Right.
With Daniel 5 and 25, I read it in the KJV, then the GNT.
Right.
Daniel 5 and 25 KJV. It says, and this is the writing that is written, many tekel ufasen. 26 in the KJV, this is the interpretation of the thing. Many, power had numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanted. When you read it in the GNT, it says this is what is written, number, weighty visions. So like I'm read the Perez, Daniel 5 and 28. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Right? When they read it in the GNT, it says this is what is written, number, weights, divisions. This is what it means, number. Power had numbered the days of your kingdom and brought it to an end. Scripture talk about the appointed bounds, you could get that.
Set bounds that you cannot pass. Eyes were by Job. I can't remember. I know it's in Job, but I can't remember.
27 weight, you have been weighed on scales and found to be too light. The visions, your kingdom is divided up and given to the Medes and Persians.
Right, 14 and 5. They
Job 14 and 5.
If you can bring that over.
I read it in GNT, you got it.
Right, there's the same precept here, Daniel 5 and 26. In the NLT, this is what these words mean. Many means numbered. Power has numbered the days of your reign and has brought it to an end.
Like the NLT?
Yep. So what that's showing you here, that Esau definitely has an ephemeral reign to get, because he's not gonna reign for as long as he thinks he's gonna reign. As he brought out the precept, the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever unto all generations, but the Lord definitely gonna cut that. You see what I'm saying?
And a beautiful to say, which, no, go ahead, I'll bring this right after, go ahead.
Because what? Ultimately, even with Esau, I could say is the height of Uriel that's set to come upon the earth when he's set to live out that Revelation 6, because we know he's been taking peace from the earth. But every single prophecy, even though he's living in it right now, there's said to be a height of it. That be Job 23, when he's about to fill his belly. So right when he living deliciously and waxing fat and he think it had nowhere else he could go but up. And he done going up. And in his mind, he is the God of this earth.
So you reach where you going and he settled there.
Yeah, as we choose, I say reach where you going.
Or if I tie back to this Daniel, the 5th chapter, the king at this time, Belshazzar, who was, reigning in the stead of his father Nabonidus, he was settled on his lease.
Right.
That is what does happen when you get too comfortable, you settle on your lease. And when you settle on your lease, right as you settle on your lease, what does happen? The Lord does come and take it over.
Right. And that is it right there. So that the whole point, it's gonna be a point in the earth in which Esau is going to seem and look unstoppable and unbeatable. But even that time gonna be short-lived, because what? There's Matthew 24 and verse 21. There are our words here. For then shall be great tribulation, such as what not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So the greatest time of testing that's going to come upon the face of the earth, that the earth has ever seen, it is a time never before seen, in accordance with
Daniel 12
and I believe
4.
Yeah,
12 and 4.
And I believe it also have a precept here in Matthew 24 as well, which mirrors that same sentiment that this kind of mind right now. With, having spoken about the days that, these days we never can see days like this again.
I think like 14.
14?
12.
Nah, not 14. I can't remember right now, so like, but just to say, in the extremity and height.
24.
Let's see.
Shall be the days of tribulation.
No, it's not that. But what? Just to say, the extremity and the heights that we're going to experience in these times is what Jacob Showell has spoken about Jeremiah 30 from verses 4 to 7 details that. And it's what? Who's going to bring about those days that not going to have any peace in you? It is the man who is given the power to take peace from you. And even then shall your days be numbered, because you're not even going to get to enjoy that for long. There's Matthew 24. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. So Esau plan basically to kill everybody on the earth. If he able to do that, he would.
Kill as much people as possible. If you go to the Georgia Guide's soul doctrine, the plan was to keep the population of the earth underneath or around that number of 500 million. So anything more than that needs to be eradicated.
Right.
So that 500 million threshold, to achieve that, with the amount of people the so-called claiming on the earth today, 8.2 billion, that is 7.7 million, so like 7.7 billion people are going to have to kill. How much bloodshed you incur to achieve that. There's a lot of bloodshed.
I think even in Revelation 6 it said what? And power was given to him to slay the third part of men? Or the fourth
No. That was the missiles.
No, not that. Well, it's not. I think it's something in
It
Revelation
says
6.
6 power is given him to take peace from you.
No, I know that one, but it says something about you're going to kill a great number of people as well.
Any black horse? Okay.
Let me see.
Revelation 6.
Right, so like over the fourth part of the 8, read verse 7 and verse 8. And that's in Revelation 6 and 8.
Fourth. Revelation 6. Yeah, you would even hear. Who's this bitch, boy? I can't remember. One in the Rothschild's mother.
Yeah.
She had sit down and say, well, we are the riders of the pale. You can look it up.
Right.
We are the riders of the pale horse. But verse 8, Revelation 6 and 8, it says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death and Hell, referencing Esau Edom.
Habakkuk 2 and verse 4 and 5, who's as death and as hell.
Followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth.
Right, so the fourth part of the earth, so what they are able to exercise the power that has been given unto them to what? Kill a great number of people.
And they give them many ways to do it.
Right.
They give him the sword, hunger, death, and the beasts of the earth.
So what they have basically the full control of the compass of the earth as it pertains to the power to kill. And
That means to achieve the agenda.
And what even with that, the Lord gonna make that glory short-lived for them, because Matthew 24 verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Reading this in the NLT. In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive.
Such is the power the Lord gave man.
But it will be shortened for the sake of power's chosen ones. So showing what the Lord not even gonna allow you to live out your blessing and, or your desire or your want to kill as much people as you can, because what the Lord even gonna cut that short. So not only your reign gonna cut short, but the abilities you have during your reign to kill as much people as you would like to, you're not even gonna be able to do that.
Because ultimately he elect the one. The one they elect dead.
Right. That's alright. Then our next precept, if we could get our one for Jeremiah 29:11.
Because we like to end these videos on a positive note. And that's the mindset I was going along. I wanted Daniel 2 and 44. Because you have to understand, in comparison to Esau Edom reign, comparison to the reign we're gonna have, he really had a short reign. The Lord could have given 2,000 years, 3,000 years. It's still not comparable to our reign. Why? Because we're gonna reign for eternity. So it's really a short reign if you look at it from that perspective as well. The Apostle Paul would have said, it's also written in the Psalms, we were like them that dreamed. Right? All of this is gonna look like a dream or feel like a dream to you when you wake up in the kingdom. And then the Apostle Paul would have said, for I reckon that all the sufferings at this present time are not comparable.
Are not worthy to be compared to the glory that we shall receive upon the return of Mashiach.
So come on, all of this is nothing really. Your rulership, like the Lord, the Apostle Paul, now come and tell you reign is nothing, basically nothing. He was in time of the Roman Empire saying that. All of that was going through then and all of that we're going through now is nothing compared to what you're going to get in the kingdom, because the kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Go ahead.
There I'm Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, said Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. And what the expected end is that what Esau's house should not continue forever. This reign is going to be a very short-lived one, especially in comparison to the reign we're going to have. Because what? Because again, even Luke 21:28, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. In the NLT it says, for your salvation is near. Matthew 1:21. he shall save his people from their sins. Because what? Even he says it in Revelation. He speaks about what? I come quickly and my reward is with me. So what the Lord come in here quick. This not gonna really take long. It feeling long to we because we in this flesh. We subject to shit like time and all that kind of fucking.
Yeah, Peter would have said that, but be not ignorant of this one thing. That one day with the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So it feeling long to me.
And if you look at it, but even if you look at it from that perspective, it's only a day. Even if it's this way, and I say that even if it's 3,000 years, which you know, damn, I wish I say that quick work. So you're not gonna be no 3,000, you're not gonna be here for no 3,000 years. Talk about hastening the day. Yeah, hastening the day for 3,000. Why the Lord would wake me up in this time to tell me we are 3,000 years again?
And we wake, and even then a sign again, we waking up in this time is proof that we close to the end, because waking up is a sign that we almost there, we almost out of here.
So my thing is this: even if it was 3,000 years, there's only 3 days in the eyes of the Lord going in. So you're really not long. Go. Let me finish here. So like it was reading something.
No.
Alright, yeah, I was going to Sirach 2. Sirach 10 and 4. It says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord,
Right.
and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. So we be seeing now that one that is not profitable in rain, but in due time the Lord gonna set over it one that is profitable. Which
one so profitable to the earth that it should stand forever.
Alright, let me see. I want to see if I read a different translation. I'm going to translate the word due time. 10:4. Well, it says the Lord sees to the government of the world and brings the right person to power at the right time. Right? When you read Daniel 2 and 44, because it's beautiful like say at the right time. When you read 2nd and verse 4 until the 7, talk about the Lord and by measure, he measured by time, the times, and by number, he numbered them.
And he does not move or stir them until he said measure be fulfilled.
So ultimately, ultimately, you know, the Lord have set things that he needs to be accomplished in order for him to change rulership. As I said, it hasn't been fulfilled yet, but it will. It will be, right?
It is how I said, no one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law until all be fulfilled.
Well,
Yeah, they if you could read that, so like, in fact we could close with that one.
Daniel 2 and 44.
Isaiah 9 and from verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this. Reading this in the NLT verse 7, his government and its peace will never end. So even what? The rain we're going to have going to be in polar opposite to all the rains that have ever existed on the earth. Being that what? This rain going to last forever. Everybody else's rain was what? That of an ephemeral rain. Something described as ephemeral lasts only for a very short time, because what? In comparison to a rain that will never end, you have rain for a short time. Esau, continuing, will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of Yahweh of heaven's armies will make this happen. So your reign gonna last as long as you think it's gonna last. It's gonna come to a short and abrupt end very soon.
Right when he do all he needs to establish he reign forever and he might dies on the garden.
Right when it should last forever, it's not gonna last forever.
It will be less fragile at that point in time than it is now and dies on the garden. Imagine that. Daniel 2 and 44, we close with this. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So in comparison to your reign, Esau Edom, It's your rain was really ephemeral. It's still a very short time in comparison to the rain we're gonna have, which is for eternity. So with that, like say Kal Halayom La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Racha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the lords of great millstone. As always, say Shalom unto the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
So a couple of brothers
Maya Shala.
and Isaiah saying
Shalom.
Shalom.